Take a break from your busy schedule and join Harold Sala for Guidelines, a 5-minute commentary on living.
With a twinkle in his eye, my friend Armin Gesswein used to say, "The secret of growing old is simple, just don't die." He lived that too, cheating the Grim Reaper well into his 10th decade. Armin was a part of a generation that used to say things in such a way that people remembered. Arminisms, we used to call them. It was an adaptation of something I haven't heard for a long time. Winners don't quit, and quitters don't win. It's still true. You may have seen a news note where he ran in the 2004 Boston Marathon. He is also a world champion triathlete and a paralympic cyclist. So, what's special about Paul? First, the reality that very few people do what he has done. What really makes Martin stand almost alone in a field of one is the fact that as the result of an automobile accident, he lost his left leg 5 inches below the knee. He just doesn't know when to quit. I'm convinced that large numbers of us quit too soon. They are rebuffed, neglected, get weary, have their feelings hurt, don't get the praise they want, or allow their feelings like a fog to obliterate the finish line, and they decide to give up on their dream. When he was about to finish work on his PhD, a personal friend of mine wrote the following. One of the comments the chair of my committee made as we were having lunch was that when he was dean of the College of Communication at Rutgers University, there were several large file cabinets filled with files on people who had finished their PhD coursework, passed the qualifying exams, but never finished writing their dissertation. Hundreds of people start well, but life happens, and they never finish. He would get calls from some of them after a few years, and they would say, "You know, I've done all this work, and I think I'd like to finish." He would have to tell them they're welcome to come back to the university, but they would have to start over again. Understandably, none did. More than half of all doctoral candidates give up and quit before they finish their program. A dissertation is a scholarly document, usually several hundred pages in length. A dissertation is a capstone to about 3 years of graduate study, and when one is not completed in a given period of time, following the completion of classwork, you don't get to put the letters PhD behind your name. Believe me, it's a tremendous amount of work without completing the course. When Paul wrote, "I have finished the course," he was talking about one far more exacting than meeting the requirements of a degree program. He was talking about life, about not quitting when the going gets tough, about not giving up when you are persecuted, abused, slandered, and rejected. When comedian George Burns celebrated his 90th birthday, he was asked when he was going to quit. "I'll tell you a story," he said, proceeding to tell about a teacher who asked their students what their daddies did for a living. One boy said, "My daddy's dead." "Oh, I'm so sorry," said the teacher, "but what did he do before he died?" The boy said, "He went, ah." And Burns used to say, "When you hear me say, ah, you'll know I'm quitting." He eventually did in 1996. Question: contemplating quitting? You're giving up too soon. Think about it. Remember, success eventually comes if you don't quit.
You've just heard Dr. Harold Sala with Guidelines, a 5-minute commentary on living. If you would like to listen to the program again, download a copy, subscribe to our e-commentary, or view other resources, visit guidelines.org. We would like to hear from you too. You can email us at info@guidelines.org. That's info@guidelines.org. Thanks for listening, and we invite you to join us again for the next edition of Guidelines.